like the feeling of power you have as a newspaper proprietor, of being able to sort of formulate policies for a large number of newspapers in every state of Australia?
Well, there's only one honest answer to that, of course, and that's yes. Of course one enjoys the feeling of power. Although, if I can just hold you there for a minute, I think that this question of the power of newspaper proprietors can be greatly overdone. We have more responsibility than power, I think. The newspaper can create great controversies, stir up arguments within the community, discussion, can throw light on injustices, just as it can do the opposite. It can hide things and be a great power for evil.
Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Critically Speaking. Income and wealth inequality represent a stark division within societies worldwide, where a small fraction of individuals control a substantial portion of the resources, leaving the majority to share what remains. Over time, the gap between the wealthiest and the poorest has expanded to unprecedented levels, prompting critical economic, social, and ethical concerns. This inequality is not merely about discrepancies in income and wealth. It's about disparities in opportunity, life expectancy, political influence, and access to basic human rights. As we delve deeper into the complexities of income and wealth inequality, we must confront crucial questions. What are the most significant issues arising from these disparities, and how can we transition towards a more equitable future? If the status quo persists, we must question the value of being a billionaire. Is amassing such wealth worthwhile in a society struggling with significant wealth inequality? But before we get into that, if you like this type of content, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell to get the latest content and stay up to date with our channel. With that said, let's get critical. Income and wealth inequality pose significant challenges at both the individual and societal level. Extreme inequality can lead to economic instability. When wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, the majority of people might not have enough money to spend, leading to reduced demand for goods and services and potentially causing economic recessions. High levels of inequality often lead to dissatisfaction and social unrest. It can create class tension, fuel social division, and in extreme cases can lead to protests or conflicts. Inequality can lead to an array of social problems, including poor mental and physical health, increased crime rates, and lower levels of education. People in lower socio-economic groups often have less access to healthcare and educational opportunities, affecting their quality of life and future prospects. When wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few, these individuals often have disproportionate political influence. This influence can shape policies and laws in their favor, perpetuating economic disparities. Inequality often leads to reduced social mobility. If the gap between the rich and the poor is vast, it becomes more challenging for people to improve their financial situation. This can result in generations of families staying in the same socioeconomic class. Inequality can be inefficient if those with the most resources aren't using them in a way that benefits society at large. For instance, money sitting in a billionaire's bank account isn't being circulated in the economy, potentially slowing economic growth. At a fundamental level, extreme income and wealth inequality raises ethical questions. Many people feel that such vast disparities in wealth and living conditions are fundamentally unfair or unjust. Addressing these issues requires comprehensive policies that promote equitable distribution of resources, equal opportunity for all, and checks on the concentration of wealth and power. Various arguments are put forth to justify income and wealth inequality, particularly by those who stand to benefit from these disparities. Many wealthy individuals proclaim meritocracy, as it suggests that individuals who are wealthy have earned their wealth through hard work, intelligence, innovation, and risk-taking. Therefore, they deserve their wealth as it is the reward for their contributions to society. The prospect of wealth is seen as a critical incentive for people to innovate, start new companies, and drive economic growth. If wealth were equally distributed, some argue that there would be little motivation for people to work hard, innovate, and take risks. Some also argue that wealth at the top eventually benefits everyone because wealthy individuals invest in businesses that create jobs, spend money that boosts the economy, and pay taxes that fund public services. This theory, known as trickle-down economics, has been highly debated. Another argument is that the market determines the worth of labor and that intervening distorts economic mechanisms. High income is seen as a reflection of the market's valuation of an individual's skills and contribution. Wealthy individuals often donate sizable amounts to charities and engage in philanthropic activities that benefit society. Some argue that this private redistribution of wealth can address social issues more effectively and efficiently than government interventions. Some see a degree of inequality as inevitable in any society, given the differences in individual talents, abilities, and efforts. They argue that any attempt to enforce equality would stifle individual freedom and personal achievement. However, it is important to note that while these justifications can explain why some people have more wealth than others, they don't always address the extreme levels of inequality that we see today, nor do they mitigate the associated negative societal impacts. Given their resources and influence, we often assume the wealthy will use their positions to champion social causes, influence policy, and advocate for change. In a world increasingly concerned with issues of corruption and wealth inequality, there's the hope that the wealth will be transparent about their income and wealth and held accountable for their actions. It's important to note that these are general assumptions and the reality can vary significantly. Furthermore, whether or not these expectations are fair or realistic is a subject of ongoing debate. The capacity to cover tax obligations is but one facet of this issue. Another pivotal consideration lies in the proper utilization of the tax system. With considerable assets and the means to procure expert financial counseling, the wealthy can often exploit legal ambiguities to diminish their tax dues. Despite this, societal consensus often leans toward the belief that such practices shouldn't be excessively utilized to shrink financial duties. Concerning global operations, the rich, especially multinational corporations, are seen as obliged to enhance local economies by paying taxes in the regions they operate, not solely where their headquarters are located. While charitable donations are recognized as a valid means to lessen taxable income, the idea persists that philanthropy should not be manipulated as a method for substantial tax evasion. A viewpoint also exists that those with significant wealth should back tax policies aimed at curbing wealth and income inequality, including increased tax rates for the highest earners, wealth taxes, or estate taxes. It's crucial to remember, though, these are societal perspectives, and the actual scenarios often vary greatly. The discussion over what is considered a fair share of taxes for the rich endures, and tax laws remain inconsistent across different nations. Philanthropic obligations of the wealthy include a wide array of charitable undertakings, influenced by societal standards, personal convictions, and public insistence. A common belief is that those with vast wealth will utilize their assets to benefit society, frequently through sizable charitable donations, foundation creation, or the funding of initiatives tackling global and local issues. This philanthropic responsibility arises from the idea that those who have reaped substantial benefits from society have a duty to contribute to its enhancement. Often, these contributions are anticipated to target areas of immediate need or systemic disparities, such as poverty alleviation, education, healthcare, and climate change. However, obligations extend beyond merely financial contributions. Many expect wealthy individuals to utilize their influence to promote awareness, advocate causes, and inspire others to contribute. In this respect, they are often perceived as potential leaders and catalysts for societal transformation. Transparency and accountability aimed at the wealthy represent public insistence on integrity and fairness in economic dealings. Primarily, transparency entails open, sincere disclosure of income, assets, and taxes. For the affluent, this might signify refraining from concealing income or wealth in offshore accounts, avoiding tax evasion through legal ambiguities, and being candid about business transactions and investments. This transparency is critical in assuring trust in economic structures and fostering a sense of justice within society. Accountability, conversely, pertains to the duty wealthy individuals bear to ethically and responsibly handle their resources. Affluent individuals and corporations often possess significant sway over society, politics, and the economy, and this influence carries an inherent responsibility for their actions. This includes being accountable for their business's impact on communities and the environment, ensuring fair treatment of workers, and leveraging their influence to promote societal welfare rather than purely personal interest. Furthermore, accountability extends to how wealthy individuals engage in philanthropy. They are often obligated to ensure that their donations effectively contribute to genuine, positive change and not simply serve to enhance their own reputation or as a tax evasion mechanism. In essence, transparency and accountability form the foundation of societal obligations for the wealthy, signifying the need for openness and ethical conduct in their interactions with broader society. However, these responsibilities can often contrast starkly with reality, sparking debates about the nature of wealth and the duties that accompany it. Income and wealth inequality are pervasive realities shaping our global landscape, serving as a stark reminder of the contrasting economic experiences within societies. In essence, this disparity manifests in the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few, while a significant portion of the population grapples with limited financial resources. Despite the global economy's growth and technological advancements, the gap between the rich and the poor has been widening rather than narrowing. This widening divide prevents complex challenges, influencing social mobility, affecting economic stability, and impacting social cohesion. The facts and figures surrounding income and wealth inequality are as stark as they are revealing, pointing to a crucial need to interrogate the drivers of this inequality and explore pathways towards a more equitable economic future. Once upon a time, earning a yearly salary of $100,000 was seen as a significant achievement for many. However, the landscape has since shifted, and that benchmark no longer holds the same value. Today, considering regional cost of living variations and the impact of taxes and additional expenses, that same salary can effectively be reduced to half, depending on one's location. In 2020, the Economic Policy Institute reported that CEOs of the 350 largest companies in the U.S. made, on average, 320 times more than their typical worker. According to the Federal Reserve's 2021 survey of consumer finances, the top 10% of U.S. households own 64% of the country's wealth, up from 60% in 1989. The Distributional Financial Accounts, DFAs, offer an extensive quarterly analysis of U.S. household wealth distribution with data spanning from the third quarter of 1989 up to the most recent quarter. These charts are used to examine U.S. household wealth based on its level, composition, and share distributed across 5 wealth percentile groups. These include the top 0.1%, the subsequent 0.9% within the top 1%, the following 9% from the 90th to the 99th percentile, the subsequent 40% from the 50th to the 90th percentile, and the bottom half, those below the 50th percentile. Moreover, the database includes information on the level and share of total household wealth divided by income, age, generation, education, and race. Over the past decade, a period marked by a global health crisis, 3 presidential terms, and multiple financial upheavals, the uppermost 10% have managed to retain more than 65% of the total wealth. Additionally, it's noteworthy that numerous affluent individuals take satisfaction in declaring minimal or even zero income, which consequently leads to their income tax payments being practically negligible. Individuals possessing considerable wealth often utilize complex financial mechanisms to minimize their reported income, thereby reducing their income tax obligations. A significant portion of their earnings may come from capital gains and dividends, which typically undergo taxation at lower rates than standard employment income. They can also employ various tax legal shelters, such as retirement accounts or real estate investments, which help decrease their taxable income. Some transfer their assets to offshore accounts located in tax havens, exploiting their lower tax rates. By setting up trusts or foundations, they can shift their wealth while still gaining tax benefits, and in some cases, maintaining control over these assets. Some also choose to take loans against their wealth, a strategy that is not subjected to income tax as loans are not considered income. They then use their assets as collateral, spending the loan money and repaying these loans with future income, possibly taxed at a lower rate. Additionally, they can make use of deductions and credits, including those from charitable donations or business expenses, which further decrease their taxable income. While these strategies are entirely legal, they are frequently debated as they enable individuals with high wealth to pay less than what is often perceived as their fair share of taxes, thereby contributing to economic inequality. Though not all affluent individuals participate in such activities, the fact that some do has led to the widespread impression that the tax system favors those with substantial resources. This notion has provoked increased demands for tax reform, including the closure of loopholes and enhancing transparency to ensure those with significant assets contribute fairly to public funds. However, any progress in this area is met with substantial challenges, including the complicated nature of global finance and the vested interests of maintaining the current state of affairs. Philanthropy among these individuals can be an intricate issue, melding genuine benevolence, personal or familial legacy building, and potential financial benefits. The truth is, while many affluent individuals and corporations significantly contribute to charitable causes, the landscape of philanthropy also contains elements that can be seen as self-serving or indicative of broader societal disparities. Firstly, the role of trust funds in philanthropy is considerable. Many affluent individuals establish charitable trusts or foundations, enabling them to donate assets to the trust, which can then be used for charitable purposes. While these trusts can effectively direct significant resources toward philanthropic goals, they also offer several benefits to the donor. These can include tax advantages, as contributions to charitable trusts often reduce the donor's tax liabilities. Furthermore, the assets in the trust, while used for charitable purposes, often remain protected from creditors and can be managed to grow over time, benefiting the donor and their heirs. Beyond these philanthropic structures, there are other ways in which philanthropy can serve the interests of the affluent. Some individuals may use their philanthropic initiatives to earn public favor or to advance their own social or political agendas. By funding specific research, education, or policy initiatives, they can influence public discourse and decision-making in ways that align with their interests. The issue of philanthrocapitalism also arises where charitable activities are run like businesses, emphasizing return on investment. While effective in some contexts, critics argue it risks commodifying and commercializing good, potentially leading to a focus on quick, easily measurable outcomes rather than addressing the root causes of societal issues. However, it is vital to note that the reality of affluent philanthropy is diverse and nuanced. Many individuals and corporations with substantial assets contribute significantly to societal good, and their contributions can make a genuine difference in areas such as health, education, and poverty reduction. The potential for philanthropy to also serve as a tool for wealth preservation, tax reduction, and influence building, however, raises essential questions about the role of the affluent in society and the need for transparency, oversight, and systemic reform. Conversely, people living in the lowest socio-economic class face numerous challenges and disadvantages that can perpetuate their economic status. Lack of access to quality education is a significant pitfall as it hinders the acquisition of skills needed for better employment opportunities. Financial instability makes it hard for these individuals to accumulate savings, denying them the financial buffer to weather unexpected crises or to invest in opportunities for upward mobility, such as further education or starting a business. Additionally, individuals in this class often reside in areas with high crime rates and fewer resources, which can lead to a cycle of systemic disadvantages that are hard to escape. Housing instability can also be a major concern as rising housing costs often outstrip income growth, making it increasingly difficult to maintain stable housing. Persisting in a lower socioeconomic class can be influenced by a multitude of interconnected factors, both systemic and personal. The lack of affordable, quality healthcare can lead to chronic health issues which can further impede economic mobility. Moreover, systemic bias and discrimination based on race, gender, or other factors can pose additional barriers to upward mobility. Personal factors such as familial responsibilities, health problems, or lack of financial literacy can also hinder individuals from improving their socioeconomic status. In many cases, the convergence of these systemic and personal challenges creates a cycle of poverty that is extremely difficult to break without substantial societal changes and personal interventions. These pitfalls create a vicious cycle that can entrap individuals and families in the lowest socioeconomic class for generations. Crafting a more equitable future in the face of considerable wealth disparities is a complex endeavor requiring both systemic and individual changes. From a systemic standpoint, reforming tax laws to close loopholes and ensuring fair taxation for all income levels is critical. Strengthening regulations and oversight to promote transparency and accountability among the wealthy is equally crucial. At the individual level, wealthy entities could play a substantial role by embracing responsible wealth management, investing in their employees, and undertaking philanthropic endeavors with genuine societal beliefs rather than just tax advantages or reputation enhancement. Moreover, fostering an ethos of wealth creation that is inherently linked to societal well-being rather than merely personal gain could reshape collective perspective on wealth and its role in society. While the road towards wealth equity is undoubtedly challenging, with persistent efforts, a more equitable and inclusive economic landscape may be achievable, bringing us closer to a society where wealth serves as a tool for collective advancement rather than a marker of division. But what are your thoughts? Considering the substantial wealth accumulated by the top 10%, is it possible to bridge the wealth gap under the existing system without a significant shift in wealth distribution? If you had billions of dollars, would you manage it any different? Let us know down in the comment section. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Critically Speaking. Until next time, my friends. That's it for today's episode of Critically Speaking. Thanks for joining us as we explore the latest movies, games, and hot topics. Stay up to date with our latest content by hitting that notification bell. And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And as always, stay critical.